Well, that's pretty good. Today I've got Fat Orange Cat. Chonky. It's a double IPA. It's a double New England style India Pale Ale. 8% alcohol. It's out of North Haven, Connecticut. Brewed and canned by Fat Orange Brewing Company. Honestly, I picked this can because growing up, I had a fat orange cat. And so I was like, well, her name was Pumpkin. She was not a very nice cat. She liked us, but she didn't like anybody else in the world. And but she loved me. So it made me think of her. I'm not really a big cat fan, but, that was kind of cool. Had never heard of it. Had no idea. It's pretty good. Yeah, I like that a lot, actually. Brought a couple Busch Lights for backup, but just in case. But that's pretty good. I don't really know how to describe it, but it's got a good taste to it, so I'm not mad about it. All right, well, welcome back to Pins and Crosshairs, episode 13. Just me today. Today, first thing I kind of wanted to talk about, because I kind of mentioned it a little bit in the last episode, talking about the Utah hunting prices and everything. I was going to talk about content creators and hunting TV shows. And because I kind of want to what I want to talk about essentially is, do we think that they are making a good or bad impact in the hunting world? And this is all opinion based. So everybody's got their opinion on it. I've noticed a lot recently over the last year that a lot of hunters, they're either really into the hunting shows and content creators, or they hate them. So I kind of wanted to just kind of talk about it a little bit and kind of give my opinion on it, I guess. And also, I'd love to hear your guys' opinion too. So if you have an opinion on it, on what you believe and why, make sure to leave a comment. I love talking with people and conversing and having conversations. So, because essentially, I would consider myself a content creator. We've been doing the Drawn Outdoors TV stuff with my buddies for, I think, 5 years now. So we're not a big channel or anything like that. We're not really influencing people, I don't think. So I don't think that we're making a big impact on the hunting industry. And not even necessarily just industry, but on people. We try to do stuff as, I guess, pretty normal as possible. We're not out trying to promote crazy products or, we're not making money doing it or anything like that. But there's a lot of people that are. And I thought about this, honestly, because back when I was a kid, I remember watching hunting shows on TV. Back when I was a kid, like Saturday morning, there'd be hunting shows on, back then it was on TNN was the channel, which ended up turning into Spike TV. And then I don't even know if it's around anymore. I don't know. But I remember watching shows on that. I remember watching Bill Jordan, however you say it, watching him killing big bucks. And I loved watching it. It was always Saturday mornings. My dad would be watching it, so I'd be watching it with him. Loved watching that. And it really made me want to bow hunt, and it made me want to kill big bucks. And what's interesting about that is by the time I got to hunting age, to where I was hunting, that's all I wanted to do. I didn't care about killing does. I didn't care about killing small bucks. And still to this day, it's exactly how I am. And so I was thinking about that, because was that TV show, was that the main reason that I am kind of the way I am with hunting, where I don't want to shoot does, I don't want to shoot small bucks, I literally only want to shoot big bucks, and I'll pass all kinds of deer because of it. So it's just kind of an interesting thought. And I don't know if that's strictly because of the TV shows that I was watching when I was a kid where everybody's killing big bucks or what. Like, I don't know if that was just me in general or if that is what influenced me to not want to shoot does and not want to shoot little bucks. So it's been kind of a weird thing that I've been thinking about. I think content creators and TV shows have their pluses and minuses. I think that's just kind of the way it is. I think there's good and bad with all of them. And I mean, the good that comes with it is it's getting hunting out there for people. So people that don't hunt, or have never hunted and are interested in hunting, they're able to watch these shows and learn things and get an idea of what to do. There's a lot of, some of these channels like the Hunting Public, they're all about like educating people to like how to hunt, like how to go hunt public land, which is great because a lot of times you do have people that don't know what they're doing, don't know anything about hunting, and you're educating them, and that's awesome, getting more people hunting. But then you also got to think they're learning, like let's say the Hunting Public is their favorite channel. And so they literally will just do anything and everything they tell them to do. There may be other ways to hunt or do these types of things that they're doing, but they're only learning and going to do the things that the Hunting Public are doing. Because one of the big things that people always complain about is public land is way too overcrowded, which it usually is. And I don't necessarily know if that's from like the Hunting Public or if that's just because we have so many hunters now. I don't know. It's just an interesting question to me anyway. But like you look at like the Hunting Public and a lot of them now, when you used to watch them early, they'd be in the tree a lot. But now anymore, for the most part, they're always on the ground hunting and always just walking everywhere and on the ground and going through everywhere, which isn't a bad thing. I mean, it's a good strategy. But then like everybody that's watching is like, oh, that's what I need to do. So then they're walking everywhere. Maybe ruining other people's hunts. I don't know. So I guess that's one thing I always thought about is, the strategies of hunting and where people learn it. I mean, obviously, for the most part, if you were a kid and you had a dad or a mom that hunted and you learned from them, that's usually going to be kind of your style. But you also learn things as you get older. I mean, I don't hunt exactly the same way my dad did, but I learned a lot from him. But I learned a lot from TV shows and content creators too, which is always weird to think about too, because like TV shows are so fake, like the hunting TV shows, so much of it is so fake that it's like we lived in this fantasy world of everything like happening so perfectly, and it's just not the way it is. So it just makes it interesting to think about that. Like, are they making a positive impact or a negative impact? I will say, I think that content creators and TV hunting shows, they've done a lot for conservation. They do a lot with that. They're always very into all the conservation efforts, which is a good thing, really good thing. But yeah, it's just kind of interesting that a lot of people watch these shows and then expect their hunt to go the same way, and 99% of the time it doesn't, because most of the time it's not real. And pretty much every show or content creator, like anymore, it's all about killing the big bucks. Like very few people are like, shooting small bucks. They're showing all the deer that they pass. And the thing that's funny is like, I say small bucks, but like to the majority of the population, it would be a big deer. But now anymore, all these guys are passing deer and growing these, 180 to 200 plus inch deer because they're doing it just so they can get views and likes and so they can make more money. So is that, I don't want to use the word ethical because I don't really consider that unethical, but is it good for the hunting industry and people in general, because it's creating, a lot of times I feel like it's creating a false narrative. Like, I want to kill a giant deer. I want to kill a 180 to 200 inch, whitetail or mule deer. But realistically, the amount of people that actually do that is so low. But all of these shows and content creators are making it seem like it's a realistic expectation, and that if you pass these deer, you'll kill these giant deer. You got to pass these deer. You got to do this stuff to your land and your farm to grow these deer. I've been passing deer for like 6 years now, and it ain't working. Sometimes they survive and come back. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes they grow. Sometimes they don't. So it's just an interesting thought, I guess. I don't know. I think I love content creators and hunting TV shows. I would say I like content creators more than I like hunting TV shows, because hunting TV shows are they're just so fake. It's honestly hard to watch anymore. And I think that some of the content creators are getting to that same point too, because they're getting, and a lot of the TV shows are going to like YouTube. Like, they're getting off of like the Outdoor Channel and stuff like that, and they're going to YouTube because they can make money doing that. And they don't have to have as many sponsors because they don't have to pay for the TV time and all that stuff. So it makes sense. But it just feels like more and more of them are trying to be, the big dog that kills the giant bucks, which is great. I mean, that's awesome. I would love to do that too. But unless you have really good land with really good herd and deer and know what you're doing, it's hard to do. So for the average hunter, like, what they're doing is not realistic for us to expect to be able to do that. But yeah, I don't know. I think, I watch all this stuff, and it's fun to watch, and you can learn some stuff. And then some stuff you see and you're like, that was really dumb. But it's just, that's how it is with any hunter. So I kind of get it. But I always come back to the whole, like, you got new hunters coming up, and anymore, what do young people do? They're watching online content. So they're a young hunter and they're really trying to get big into hunting. Next thing you know, they're, buying a camera, wanting to, start their own channel, and they're trying to be just like the guys that they follow and do everything just like them. And so it's like, are they doing it the right way? Are the people that they are following, is it worth them following them? Should they be learning from them instead of learning from somebody else? So are they helping with the learning process of hunting? I don't know. It's a weird conversation. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you guys think content creators and TV shows are good for hunting? Anymore, like, hunting is getting so expensive. And I think that is a big part because of content creators and TV shows, because most of them are going to these outfitters and they're getting to hunt at a very discounted rate or free because they're promoting the outfitter. And then we're expected to pay the full price, which is what everybody should do. But it's also getting very expensive to go to an outfitter. So it's another unrealistic fantasy, I guess, for us, because we think, we want to go to this place and do the exact same thing that this guy did. But we're going to pay thousands of dollars to do it. So I don't like that. They obviously, they all have sponsors, multiple sponsors usually, which is, basically where they're getting their income, which is what you got to do. It's a business. But then you're promoting these products that are expensive. You're promoting these outfitters that are expensive. And essentially you're trying to get people to go spend their money on this stuff, which I understand. I wouldn't say I've bought stuff because of content creators. I probably have, but I'm the type that's usually super doing tons of research and really into trying to find every product possible that could be the right fit for what I want, what I need. And I'm willing to spend the money if I think it's worth it and it's a good product. But I also, if it's super expensive, it might not be worth it to me. So, but they're always going to promote that stuff because that's their sponsorship. And that's kind of the way it is. And hopefully, the stuff that they truly are using, they really do believe in. But also you see a lot of these guys bounce around from company to company. And so you're like, okay, did you really believe in it? Because you talked a huge game on how incredible this product is. Like, this product is the best on the market. I will never use anything else. It's so good. And then all of a sudden, the second they don't want to pay anymore or somebody wants to pay you more money, you jump ship. So really, is it that great of a product, or you're literally just saying it for the money? That's what I get a lot of times, because a lot of them, especially over the last few years, have really bounced around with their companies. So I always find that interesting. And nothing's getting cheaper anymore. That's just the way in the world in general. But hunting products are getting a lot more expensive too, which is kind of how it all is. But yeah, I don't know. It's it's hard to kind of decide whether they're making a positive or negative impact on the hunting world. I think they are in some areas, and some areas I think they're not. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think, because I'm kind of torn on it. I mean, you could call me a content creator because I do YouTube stuff and I'm doing a podcast, but I'm not really trying to influence people, I guess. Just having fun conversations and talking about fun topics. Not making any money doing it, so. Next, I was going to talk about how technology is impacting the hunting industry, because I was thinking about this it kind of goes with the content creators and TV shows and stuff, because all of their sponsors and the products they use, especially because, some of these states are starting to ban some stuff because of the technology, which I think can be a good thing and a bad thing, depending on what it is. And everybody's going to have their opinion on that. I'm not saying my opinion's best. But it is interesting. I mean, you think about, like, I saw actually another podcast clip. I don't know which one it was, but I saw it not that long ago. And they were talking about, actually it might have been Working Class Bow Hunter that was talking about it. They were saying, no, actually, I don't know which one it was, but they were saying it has cell cams or apps like Onyx made a bigger impact on people being successful hunters, like killing big bucks, over the last however many years. Which one has made a bigger impact? And so I thought about that, because, essentially you think about Onyx and all those types of apps. Obviously there's multiples of them, but before, like when I was growing up, we had every year that, like, our state came out with the public land atlas map. So all you did was you looked at it, you found where the public land was, and you went there, and then you had to figure it out by looking at it and walking and driving around trying to figure out what the land is like. Where now with Onyx and those apps, you don't have to go anywhere, and you can figure out pretty much everything about that entire spot, whether, private or public, whatever you're hunting. And so it makes it a little bit, I would say a lot easier to kind of have an idea of where you're going to go when you get there, or where the deer might be, where they might be bedding, where they might be feeding, where they might be getting water, where they might be traveling through. And you can do all that because of these apps. Now, I don't think that these apps should be illegal. I think they're really cool and they can really help the hunter. But it is interesting to think about, because now you don't even have to, if you were planning an out-of-state hunt, or just like going to hunt on the other end of your state and you've never been there, you can figure out pretty much every area you think you want to go hit before you even go. It's no longer just, boots on the ground and driving to new spots trying to figure out which ones look better, and then going in and trying to do some, research and figure out where you think you should go. You can do pretty much all of it online anymore, which is pretty wild to think about. I had a buddy that went down and hunted Missouri public land for deer this year, and he was down there hunting with a guy that he works with, and he's got a great spot on this public land. He showed, all these trail camera photos of these deer, and it was insane. Like the fact that all these deer were there, but it was a really hard spot to get to. So nobody ever really went there. This year, he ended up running into some guys from Arkansas that were hunting back in the same exact spot he was. Never been to Missouri before, or never hunted there. They wanted to go to Missouri and hunt, so they literally said they were just on onX, just looking where spots that looked like they might be good spots to hunt that might not get a lot of pressure, and they were hunting in the same spot he was. And it was like he never usually sees people back there in this area, and don't know if they ended up killing anything or not. Hopefully they did. That's pretty cool, but like they literally just learned it from onX. They drove up from Arkansas. They had picked out multiple spots of public land that they were going to go hit because of, how it's set up and where they thought they had a good chance at, not much pressure, but still having deer moving through there. And they picked a really good spot. Don't know if they had success or not, but they literally just learned from onX. That was the only thing they did. So again, like you got people states away that now you can do all the research, which like I said, it's not a bad thing, but it's also just very different than the way it used to be, and, things are changing in the world with technology, but so I thought that was interesting. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think onX is a tool that everybody should use? Do you think it's a positive? Do you think it's a negative? I'd be curious to know what everybody else's opinion is, because obviously this is just my opinion. And I don't think it's a bad thing. I think onX is cool. I use it all the time. For public and private. I don't hunt much public anymore in Nebraska, but we hunted a little bit last year because we found a few pieces that looked great. And so we looked at those and then went and checked them out. I use the onX actually a lot more for like pheasant hunting because there's tons of fields. And so you're just trying to find the fields. It's really easy to do. So I do it for that. But for deer, I don't use it much for deer because I don't usually hunt public much. But I do use it on the permission piece that we hunt, and it works great. I'm able to mark stands, mark trail cameras, like those types of things are super helpful. It's a super helpful tool in that aspect. Yeah. So I'm not against it. I like it. The other one is cell cams. That one is kind of interesting because I love cell cams. I don't know what it is. Like, I don't use cell cams. That's the thing with cell cams is some people will run like 50 to 100 of them, which is insane because of how much money that costs you a month. That's just stupid. But they'll do anything to kill that giant buck, which I get. I want to kill a giant buck too, but you're spending thousands of dollars just to kill that one deer. So you can hopefully get that fame, be famous. Like, good for you, dude. Like, whatever. But I just thought it was interesting because some states are starting to ban cell cams, which would make me sad in Nebraska. I hope they don't do that. I love cell cams because I just love getting pictures of deer. Like cause like where I hunt is 4 hours away from me. So it's not like I'm literally there. It's just, I think I have 3 or 4 of them, and Teddy's got like the same amount, maybe 4 or 5. And we set them up out there. We go out in the summer, usually end of June, beginning of July, set up our cell cams. And obviously we don't do anything really for the next few months. And honestly, for us, it's more, we're just getting pictures to see what deer are around. So seeing if we have some good ones, obviously that's what we want to see is big bucks, and see what area they're in. It's not like we have cameras on every single trail, so that way the deer literally can't hide. We're not that crazy. And honestly, I wouldn't even want to be. I think that takes the fun away from it. But just having an idea of where they might be hanging out and just being able to see what deer you do have, so that way, if you know that you have one or two big ones, potentially where they could be, and what you're looking for. So, and it's just something about waking up in the morning and checking your phone to see if you have any photos. It's like one of my favorite things to do. I'd rather do that than scroll Instagram or Facebook or any of those things. I love getting deer pictures. I was just telling Teddy the other day, my buddy, that I was like, I know it's only April, but for some reason I have the itch to go put my cameras out just because I just want to get pictures of deer, even though they have no antlers right now. But I'm just like, I'm just bored and I just want to see deer. So, but yeah, I mean, I think cell cams are great. Obviously, you can use them to the effect where it can really make a huge impact. I've seen people talk about how they ended up killing this deer because, they got a picture of it daylight in this one spot. So then they ran out and got up in the stand, and then it came back by later. So I can see where you could say it's kind of cheating. I mean, every time I've tried to do that, like when I'm out there and I get a picture, we've never killed anything from it. But most of the time it doesn't work. But, if you are running, 50 to 100 cameras, there's a pretty good chance you got a good chance at knowing where they're moving and when they're moving. So I can see where that can be an issue for some people. Yeah, it was interesting though, because I've seen some of these states are now banning cell cams. I saw this like last year or 2 years ago. It kind of was starting. So I looked it up. Like Arizona bans the use of live action cameras for hunting purposes, it says. I'm assuming that means cell cams. Nevada bans the use of trail cameras on public land during certain times of the year. I'm assuming that must be during hunting season. Montana prohibits the use of cellular linked cameras during hunting season. So Montana, you can't use them during season. Utah banned trail cameras for hunting and also made it illegal to sell or purchase trail camera footage to aid in taking big game animals. Yeah, I think they actually had a pretty big ban, I feel like. Like they banned them like pretty much all together. Utah doing another weird thing. Whatever. Yeah. Kansas banned the use of all trail cameras on KDWP lands and waters, which I believe is like their public lands. I remember hearing about that last year or the year prior. So you can't use any trail cameras on public land. You can still use them on private. New Hampshire restricted their use in 2015, it says, and Alaska prohibits the use of wireless or cellular cameras, cell cams, whatever, during the hunting season. It's like Delaware recently banned cameras on public land as well. So, yeah, I mean, some states are obviously banning them, and I'd be curious to know what their reason is. If their reason is because they're saying it's making it too easy. I mean, and then like banning them on public land, I don't know. I guess I don't really understand that. I mean, I know lots of people put cameras on public land. We've done it. We just put them up, and you're taking a risk. Like, it might get stolen or somebody might smash it just because they're a dick. I mean, that's the risk you take, but so I don't know. I mean, I'd be curious to know what everybody else's thoughts are on cell cams. I think cell cams are awesome, and not necessarily just because I'm using it as a tool to try and kill the big buck. I mean, that's what you're using it for, but I just love getting pictures of deer. I think it's fun, especially for me because I live 4 hours away from where I hunt. So it's fun to be able to get those instead of having to, because we used the non-cell cams for years. And then obviously cell cams have become a bigger, more popular thing, and they're not as expensive anymore and they work much better. So we started transitioning to that, and we're like, because then we don't have to drive out there, drive to every spot, pull the cards just to check all the photos, put them back in, change batteries. Like, it was a lot more process and a lot more work, and we obviously wanted to see pictures. So being able to have cell cams, now since we're 4 hours away, like, it's really fun to be able just to get pictures to see what's moving, what's in the area. Like, I think for that, I love cell cams for that. So, I'm not against cell cams. I love cell cams. I hope they don't ever ban them in Nebraska, and I hope they don't get too crazy across all these states. Like, I just think there's a lot of good use for them. So, and honestly, like, you think about it too, a lot of people that do have cell cams, that's how they catch poachers and trespassers on their land. Like, that's super helpful. I just saw a video there, I think it was earlier today or yesterday. It was that Whistling Diesel guy, I think. I've never really watched him, but I think he's a huge YouTuber. And he caught some guy trespassing and stealing stuff off of his property from cell cams. Like, there's a lot of use for cell cams. And I mean, I guess that's why maybe some of these states are banning it on public, but you can still use them on private. But like, there's more uses than just for hunting to have a cell cam. You can essentially use it as a security camera on your property, which is a big deal. You know, keep poachers off, keep trespassers off. So that's another good use for them. So I like cell cams. I'm all for them. Everybody that isn't, I mean, I'd like to know why you're against it, I guess, would be my question. Because I don't know. That's just my opinion. The next one I was going to talk about, because this one is obviously becoming a pretty big topic, is thermal drones. Because I've seen a bunch of videos of these guys that do the, thermal drone deer recovery. And it's really cool. It's awesome. Like, it's a really cool thing to see. But I don't really like it personally. It almost feels like you're cheating too much. Like, you can, because it's not only you're seeing that deer, like, it's crazy watching it. If you've never watched it, like, look up like the drone deer recovery on YouTube, because these guys can literally, they can find any deer on the farm. It's insane. And so you have these guys that, they shoot a buck, they pretty sure they made a bad shot, or they don't know for sure. So instead of calling a tracking dog, which is a normal thing to do, they call these drone guys, pay them a bunch of money just to, get their deer. And they come out and they put that drone up in the air, and they, thermal, they can see every animal that's in whatever area they're looking at. And so they'll go to where they think the deer is, and then they'll see if it's still alive or if it's dead. And it's crazy when they see it's alive and it's just like bedded there. So then it's like, okay, now what? Like, now you know exactly where it's at. So it makes it pretty easy to sneak up and maybe get another shot on it. Or you're just waiting it out, I guess. It's just weird to me. I don't necessarily like the thermal drone thing. And states are starting to ban it now. And honestly, I think I'm for that. Because even now, just with regular drones, most states have laws on using drones for hunting. You can't use it to try and scout for deer. You can't use it to try and recover deer. You can't use it to chase deer. Like, I mean, I have a drone. I could do that. I could go chase deer or something with it if I wanted to. Or I could use it to scout, but I don't. I use it just for video purposes. And I'm never like flying around trying to find deer with it. I'm just using it just to get the shots of my areas. So that way for a video, you have an idea of what kind of area I'm hunting. In some states, like Colorado, when we were hunting antelope out there, we asked them what their laws were, and you can't use a drone on the same day that you're hunting. So like literally, if we're hunting that day, we can't go get drone footage. So it's like, I mean, I get that. But yeah, the thermal drone thing, it's just, and I've seen videos of people that they also use it for like, just to do recon on their property. So like they'll do it, either after the season or maybe even during the season or before the season. They'll literally have these guys come out, fly around, and basically see where all the deer are. So, I mean, even though they might not be hunting that day, they're seeing like how the deer are using their property just by getting a drone up in there. They're like, oh, look, this is where they're bedding. We didn't know they were bedding here, or we thought this is where they would bed, And I don't like that at all. That's just, it's not much of a fair chase to me, in my opinion. Like, yeah, you still got to get in there and kill it, but like if you know where those deer are bedding, just by getting a drone up and being like, oh, there they all are, it's pretty easy to be like, okay, I guess I'll go set a stand up here on this wind and set a stand up here on this wind because this is where they're bedding now. That makes it pretty easy. So I don't even like that. Like people that say they're using it for, we're just using it to learn our property, trying to figure out how the deer use it. And it's like, why don't you just go do it the right way? Like that's kind of stupid in my opinion. But I don't know. You guys tell me what you think on thermal drones. I don't like them at all, to be honest. I don't even like it for recovery purposes. I think you can either get a tracking dog or you can give the deer time, and that's all on you. That's the way I think it should be. I just don't think that thermal drones really have a business in the hunting world. But again, that's my opinion. You may have a different one. That's fine. Let me know. I'd be curious to hear it. Yeah, so the last thing I was going to talk about today is just hunting products, and I kind of touched on that with the content creators and TV shows. The cost is obviously getting pretty expensive for a lot of stuff, and I buy some of the nicer stuff. I do. There's certain things that I do believe are worth spending the money on, and there's certain things that I didn't think that it'd be worth it. And I'm not going to say like it's got to be specific brands, but like there's multiple brands that make higher quality products. And that's kind of what I'm talking about, is whether it's worth the higher quality products or buying the cheaper ones. So I think that there's certain areas that it's definitely worth it spending the extra money. Honestly, surprisingly, one of the few things that I didn't really expect, because I started out just buying the cheap ones, were like tree stands. Honestly, like tree stands and even like saddle hunting gear. Like you can get away with the cheap stands or the cheap saddle gear, but it makes a big difference having higher quality gear with that. Because cheap tree stands, like I used to buy them from like Menards, I was like, oh, I can get this one for $40. Great. They don't bite the tree very well. They're not comfortable. They're a pain to lug in. Like they don't even strap to the tree well. Like I think getting good tree stands makes a big difference. And I'm talking, hang-ons and ladder stands. Like there's a difference with ladder stands. I think most of your ladder stands, obviously there are nicer ones. There's some actually really expensive ones, and I'm not about to spend the big money on some of those ladder stands. I'm not even a big ladder stand person in general anymore, because I don't know. The only time I really like a ladder stand is potentially if you're doing an all day sit, or if you have kids. Like when I take my kids, I always take them to the ladder stand, or, we have a couple of them out there, I think, but just cause I know it's easier for them to climb. So it's safer. They're not climbing sticks. So in that aspect, I like ladder stands, but otherwise for the most part, I prefer being in a hang on or in a saddle. Saddle gear, I would say the same thing. I think you can get away with cheaper sticks. I have a bunch of those like Hawk Helium sticks, and they work just fine. They're not the greatest, and sometimes they don't bite the best. It just depends on the stick and the tree. But as long as you're cautious with them, going up and down and stuff, you'll be just fine. But they're also big and bulky. So depending on what you're doing, like I use those mostly for hang them and leave them. Like I may move them around a little bit throughout the year, but I'm not going and doing hanging hunts with them like all the time, because it'd be a pain to have to carry those around. So sticks can be there. I think a good set of sticks. I'm buying a new set of sticks this year because I really I wanted them last year, but they were sold out, and I'm buying them this year because I think they look like the best stick out there. And obviously everybody's going to have their opinion and their specific sticks that they like. But like the Hunt Arsenal sticks, I want those sticks so bad, and I cannot wait to buy them. And honestly, I think I'm going to buy one of their platforms too, because their new platforms are so sick. The way they collapse down to an inch, like it's just, I'm super pumped for those. So I'm going to try those out this year because I want to have a nice mobile setup. I don't have like a full mobile setup. Like I've got sticks, but not like any that are great that pack down really well. My platform is a platform that's just fine, but like this thing packs down even smaller. Like, so I really want to have a good mobile setup that I can get in and up a tree quick and then tear down quick, like to be able to be more mobile. So that way I don't feel like I have to take as much time. I can get in and out a lot faster. So I just think that makes a big difference. Getting good gear for that, which is, it's become such a big thing now with saddle hunting. All these companies are coming out with great products to make the setup lighter and faster setup and faster teardown. So I do believe that makes a big difference, having good saddle gear, getting a good saddle that's comfortable, good ropes. I got nicer ropes that are, they're 8 millimeter diameter. So they pack way smaller. It makes a big difference. So you can, if you're getting started, you can get away with the cheaper stuff just fine. But if you decide it's something that you really like, with saddle hunting or, specific, or if you're just a tree stand guy, there's really good tree stands too, like that are smaller, more packable. And I just think that eventually you're going to want to get into the better gear because I think it really does make a difference. Hunting clothes and boots do make a difference. You can be just fine, get away with the cheaper stuff. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say you have to go buy the expensive stuff because you don't. But it does make a difference. It can be a lot more comfortable. It can be a lot warmer. I mean, and it doesn't matter the brand. I mean, I went in all in on Sitka, so I've got a handful of Sitka pieces, like the stuff that I've just kind of slowly bought pieces for like early season and then a late season and a mid season. Like I don't have tons and tons of it, but I slowly just keep buying more, wait for the sales, wait till stuff goes to the Sitka outlet. I'm not paying full price for this stuff, but it can make a difference. Like I don't know what it was. Like I just could not stay warm with all the stuff I was wearing before. I was wearing Under Armour stuff and I don't even remember what else. I think I had some of the Shields brand stuff, but it makes a difference. I mean, and Sitka's not the only one. KUIU, I've heard really good stuff about a lot of the KUIU stuff from multiple people. Again, they're another more expensive one. Osseo is another one that I've heard is really, really good. I've never tried any of their stuff either, but I heard really good things about them. I wouldn't do Origin. They're absolute dog shit. I wouldn't even waste your time. My buddy bought a decent amount of money's worth of it when it first came out, because it's, all American made and all that stuff, made in USA, all of it. So like he was trying to support it and it was just absolute shit. It was terrible. And I have not heard anything about it getting any better. Like it's not good stuff. It's way overpriced for what it is. So I wouldn't waste your money there. Sorry if you're an Origin person, but I just don't believe it. Don't believe in it at all. But yeah, so I think good hunting clothes can make a big difference. I mean, and like I said, it's not like you have to have it, but it can make things more comfortable, for whatever you're doing. So, and especially if you're going on a hunt, like if you're to where you're camping somewhere, like if you're doing like a backcountry hunt, like clothes really matter because you can only pack so much and you really want to have the best of the best that are going to adapt to the elements. Like it's, in that aspect is important. It's the same with boots. I don't have like an expensive pair of boots. I actually just bought a pair of the Lacrosse, Alpha Burley ones or whatever, like the muck boots this last winter. The boots I've been wearing for like 6 years now are Browning boots. And like, I didn't even know Browning made boots when I bought them, but I was like, well, those look decent. And I got them on sale for like $80, which obviously is really cheap for a good boot. And they've been the best boot that I've ever had. And they're just now at the point where they're getting worn out and I need to get a new pair of boots. So I don't know if I'm going to go, buy a Crispy or, what's the other? I don't even remember what the other big brand is. I can't remember off the top of my head for some reason. I don't know if I'm going to buy one of those or not. I mean, it just depends. Like, I know buying a good boot can make a difference and be a really great thing to have. So we'll see. But I know a lot of people that say boots make a big difference, especially if you're doing like, mountain hunts and stuff like that, where you're up on the sides of the mountain and everything, doing elk or whatever. So I know boots can make a big difference. And I've had some bad boots in the past, and those Browning boots that I had, they were just the greatest boot. So I got lucky with those ones. Yeah. And I mean, you can even talk about like bows and, guns and stuff. You don't need a flagship bow. They're great. I have one. I mean, I bought the Matthews Verdicts the year it came out, and I'm still shooting that same bow. It's been like 6 years or whatever, 5 years, I don't know. But it's a great bow. But in some of these new ones, I mean, my buddy got the Hoyt RX-8 or RX-9, and he loves that thing. And he went from, he had the Hoyt Alpha X or something before that, or something. I don't know. It was a few years old, but he shoots this bow lights out. I mean, it really is a nice bow. I shot it too, but they're nice, and they can make a little bit of a difference, but you don't have to have that. I mean, I think if you're shooting super long distance, like if you're going to be shooting long distance shots, then I think it can make a difference if you're consistently going to be shooting those, but you don't need them otherwise. But I mean, obviously I spent most of my money on camera equipment, so I spent a lot more money on that than I have hunting equipment. But yeah, I don't know. That's kind of all I got for today. Yeah, let me know what you guys think about content creators and TV shows, like what impact they have. If you think it's a positive or a negative impact. I'd be curious to hear people's opinions, because I hear both sides of it. And then the technology, cell cams. I want to know what you guys think of cell cams, Onyx, thermal drones. I'd just like to hear more people's opinions. It's kind of fun to see what people are thinking and talking about. So I enjoy that part of it. If anybody wants to come on the podcast with me and shoot the shit about some stuff, let me know. Yeah, that's all I got. So thanks for listening or watching. Pins and Crosshairs, episode 13. We'll catch you next time.